Hello there, welcome. Welcome to my channel, Mauh. My name is Mauh, welcome. So today I wanted to create art. And I was like, let's get all dressed up nicely like I am. Let me just show the fit for a second. So this is the fit. And yeah, it's cute. And it's black. So yeah, black is fun. Black is fun. I love black. As you see, my hair is black. Black like my soul. No, I don't know, maybe my soul is black. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I come from the universe, and the universe is just a black hole, right? Like, and in this black hole, we have all these stars like me. And we are shining, and sometimes we just need to focus our attention into something that we are looking forward to doing. So I am looking forward to doing this video. And, you know, let's just bring gravity into the equation for a second, right? Like, so there's these planets hanging in the universe, right? Ours included, Gaia, planet Earth. And somehow, even though there's no gravity, there's a gravitational pull, which is keeping these planets suspended in a gravity-free environment on a cycle turning every predictable amount of years, like the planets. And I'm like, that's intense. Like, so I want to, read my tarot decks today. I have a few tarot decks. This one is the Thought Tarot. I put it in a zippy bag. I got the Hermetic Tarot as well. And of course, I had to. I brought in the Goetia Tarot. So we're excited for that. I love this deck. Sorry, sometimes I get overly happy, but don't worry. It's just a product of my environment, So I'm drinking this magical potion. Yeah. And it's a magical potion. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because, Mauh doesn't talk about that kind of stuff, really. She just kind of makes everything magical. So she's just going to say it's a magical potion. So yeah, and it's for better health. So I'm drinking it. So cheers to me having better health, of course, Sarah Elizabeth Galoo. But here we are, Mauh, okay? Sarah Elizabeth Galoo is cool, and that's all good. But I want to create art today. So let's see, what do you want to talk about? Okay, I want to talk about sometimes when we see each other when we see ourselves. It's interesting because I was going to say when we see each other. But yeah, I guess that's like an alter ego, if you will. Like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who's that? It's like your alter ego. I don't know. Let's talk about the alter ego then, okay? So let's get out these tarot decks. Yeah, I'm not gonna scare you. It's just the tarot, Tarot is widely accepted these days, widely. Like, everybody has a tarot deck these days. And I'm loving that because tarot is like art. You look at the picture and you tell the doctor what you see in the picture, in this ink blot, right? I was just talking to my doctor the other day and I was like, yeah, tarot is like when you present a picture to somebody and it's an ink blot and they're a patient or whatever, and they look at the ink blot, and what you want to see is what's in their subconscious. So you want them to tell you what they see in the picture. And they tell you what they see in the picture, right? Let's say they say, I see the sun, So what does that tell the psychiatrist? That tells the psychiatrist that you are a happy person, that you like being in public and that you're not afraid of being in public because the sun, hello, everybody knows is there, you know, so those are the kind of things that the sun would tell you, right? And you can also talk about the sun in your astrology, you know, like in your birth chart, where is the sun located? So my sun is located just at the beginning of Aquarius season, but I've been told, and I think this is true, two things. First thing I've been told is that the sun represents the part of you that feels reborn, you know? Do I feel reborn? I don't know. But guess what? I don't care either, you know? Like, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about that. So let's talk about whatever the Goetia want to talk about. Let's just get this one out first because I took it out. Sorry, Thoughts Tarot. But yeah, I think it's good to see yourself in the mirror and like actually look, you know, like, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about the guy on Shrek, the donkey guy. Like I'm like feeling like Shrek right now, the donkey guy. And that's weird. That's weird. That's weird shit. And when I start swearing, you know that it's really weird. So let's see what, you know, Universal Spirit of the Tarot, Goetia Tarot, do you have any messages for us today? I love messages from the tarot. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So anyways, yeah, so that donkey guy in Shrek, like what's that all about? All right, I'm just gonna take the first card on the top because I can't wait any longer to figure this out. This is like a puzzle, okay? So we have what looks like an energetic being, and I don't want to bring the name of the energetic being in, but I'm getting, you know, like in that movie Fantasia, you know how Mickey Mouse had like a wizard's hat on with stars on it, and he had like a wizard's robe with like a hood and everything, and he's like conducting the music, and then what comes to mind is when he can't control the rain anymore, you know, and the water starts flooding into the castle or whatever, wherever he is. And he needs the composer, whoever that composer is, to come in and fix the problem that this wizard created that he couldn't get himself out of. So that's the card right there. And I think, I'm not going to say the name of the being, but the picture looks like energy, and I also get like Peacock, Ajamalik, the Peacock King here too, who's I'm working with in the cliff off. And that just brings you back to your own power, right? Like you have the power to create with your mind what you want to see play out in your life. You actually have the power. And I mean, if people want to bring in reasons why they can't control their lives, I mean, I would think that they're just being lazy or something. Like, I don't know, like, don't you want to direct your life into a specific direction? Like, don't you want to go in a direction? For me, I'm not afraid to say it as an occultist. I want to put my written work out into the world, and I want it to further the knowledge of other occultists, as well as other people who may be interested in the occult. Because the occult really just means hidden things, right? Like, I don't know, when I was a Christian, I was so afraid of the word occult. I was just afraid of it. And it was just a name, a word, you know, the name of a study that put fear in my heart every time I would hear it when I was a Christian. And I was a devout Christian for a long time. And so it's the same thing with the celebration of Halloween. Like, Halloween put fear in my heart. And I don't know if it was just the reverence that I hold, I think that's what it is it was the reverence of my heart towards something that was painted as bad when I was a Christian for myself and for the people that I was surrounded by, including my mother and father. And so I went deeper into Christianity. Like, that's the thing. I went deeper. And I don't know, maybe some people would think that I am lost, but I don't feel lost. I feel like I have a strong connection with my ancestors. I feel like they're protecting me. I feel like I can trust that they're there and that I can talk to them. And to me, that's something that I could never have done before as a Christian. I could not talk to my deceased stepbrother, you know, my older brother. I couldn't talk to him because I wasn't accessing that dimension, the occult, the secret things. And I think that's what the Goisha have helped me do really a lot, is just to transform energy, to work with energy, because that's all everything really is energy, you know. And we're in this web, you know, we're in this web, and we all have energy, and our energy can be felt when we step into a room. Other people can read your energy like a book, some people. And I think it's good that they do that, because it's really good to know your place within society, you know, because that's what makes you a good citizen. You know, if you are a good member of society, that means that you are following the laws, you're paying your bills, you're renewing your car registration, you're going to the gym, you're taking care of your body, you're eating right. Like, that's controlling the circumstances in your life so that you can create a life that you want to see for yourself. So that's what this Goetic spirit is telling me. And I'm not going to say his name, but if you read it on the card, I allow you to. But yeah, I don't need a name. I mean, just knowing that I'm working with the Goetic Tarot, I'm going to get another Goetic spirit out. Universal Spirit of the Tarot. Goetic Tarot. Thank you for that message, first of all, to that spirit. And just let's continue that train of thought. Like, if you can create your life, then what's to say that you can't control your life to the point where you win the lottery or whatever? You know what I mean? And I think something that I learned from the Goetic spirits, got a card, is that the universe is keeping the score. Okay, there is justice in the world, and the universe is keeping the score. And if you are putting love out into the universe will give you back love. And when you go through a hard time, you don't see it as a hard time, you see it as an adventure. So this one looks like a noose with a ladder, and then there's some sort of like cat, a big cat, like a tiger or something, in the tree. And I think what that is telling me is just like, we all go through hard times in life. We all do. You know, like, it's easy to say that you go through a hard time sometimes because it's part of the human narrative. Like, when you signed your soul contract, in my opinion, if you did do this, and if you didn't, I don't know what you're not signing soul contracts for if you're on earth, because I believe that we created our life before we came here, and we gave ourselves the challenges that we have to face because we wanted to learn something with our life. We wanted to, and astrology says this too, you move from one direction of your chart to the next direction of your chart. You are moving, you are evolving, you are meant to change dimensions. North node to south node to north node, you know, and north, east, south, west, the directions. The directions are very important as well. And so this card says it has the symbols for Mercury and Capricorn. And what I wanted to say with the sun is that, so thank you for that message with the noose. I don't know if I'm done with that, but if your sun is on the cusp like my own, I am also a Capricorn. I am a Capricorn sun, almost just as much as I am an Aquarius sun. But then there's also another type of astrology. I think it's called Vedic astrology. I'm not really sure, but I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. Check it for yourself if you're really interested. But there's Western astrology, and there's another type of astrology. And in the other type of astrology, you actually move back. I think you move back one sign. So I could actually be a Sagittarius as well, which is a fire sign. So like, it's really important to know that for yourself, because that's what keeps you out of those times in your life when you feel like you can't go on anymore. You know, like, I'm a Luciferian. So for me, it would all come back to Lucifer, but I'm also a Satanist, I guess I could say. I'm a Luciferian satanic witch. So I also believe in like just science, and I also believe in logic. I believe that the earth is the most important thing that we could possibly work on, you know, which is probably why I value things of value like books or statues or a nice place to live or nice clothes or nice jewelry. Like that's very Capricorn, like, because Capricorns always want to be seen as the boss, you know, they want to be like representing out there. So my goal is to represent Lucifer, but my goal is also to represent Satan, because I think that Satan is, I call him Lord Shaitan. He's the Lord of logic and Lord of the earth. So yeah, but let's go on to another tarot deck. So thank you for that one, and you can read the name if you want. Tiger, nailing it. That's what the tiger does. The tiger nails it, goes for what he wants. And the cats do too. Cats do too. So like, tigers are like big cats, right? And the cool thing about cats is I'm reminded of Bast, because she's one of my goddesses. Bast, B-A-S-T. She's a Egyptian goddess. So she's about cunning, craft, but she's also about family and siblings, and you know how cats are. They've got each other's back, you know. Sometimes they get into cat fights, but like for the most part, they do get each other's back. So let's just see where this is all going with the Hermetic Tarot. I don't know, this one gives me like Egyptian vibes too, which would be like fitting for me right now for the for where I'm connecting with the Qliphoth at the moment. So yeah, just gonna take out these back and front cards, because those are this is what's in the Hermetic Tarot. I have a lot of tarot decks, not to, you know, toot my own horn, but I do have a lot. I'm more than the average person probably. You know, I said everybody has a tarot deck. Well, I have probably like 100 tarot decks, and then I got oracle decks too. So like, I'm kind of like a tarot deck whore. I think oracle decks are I think tarot decks are kind of like oracle decks, and oracle decks are kind of like tarot decks. Only the tarot deck, it could be more predictable, just because you're working with a set, you know, standard for the tarot, whereas an oracle could pretty much be like any type of subject, just like the tarot, but it's a little bit more, okay, I'll give you the interpretation, whereas the tarot is kind of like, okay, what is the interpretation? So it's like a step up from an oracle deck. But if you don't have a tarot deck, get yourself a tarot deck like this. They're amazing. So this is the Seven of Pentacles, Lord of Success Unfulfilled. Oh. The Seven of Pentacles. But the Seven of Pentacles, come on. Lord of Success Unfulfilled. I see it. I see it. So the Seven of Pentacles, which is this card, in the Hermetic Tarot looks like this. And it's pretty much like a pip deck, right? Which is basically a deck where there's no real picture, but you do see the elements, like in this case, pentacles, lined up and in a certain pattern, which actually does matter. When you see a pattern, it represents something to your mind, because it's a geometric, and the shape, geometric shape, brings a calculation to your mind. So for this one, I was getting Tree of Life. And I think what I would suggest for people who in the future want to do what I'm doing with the Qliphoth that I'm doing right now, I would suggest being open to learning about the tree, not only the tree of Clifflock, which you're going to be working with if you're working through the system that I'm creating to get back down the tree, but to know about all areas of the tree, to actually know, to actually work with every single being in the Clifflock. That includes the tunnels, the beings that rule the tunnels, and the beings that rule the Cliffa. So that's the tree of knowledge, right? And so I think it's important as I'm going, through this journey here in the Cliffa, which I did start about 3 years ago, and I did initiate myself through there, for those of you who don't know, and I did make it to Mauh. So it's like getting through a maze. That's what it's like doing it. And when you finally get through the maze, you can go back and you remember. It brings a pattern to your mind, right? Just like this 7 of Pentacles, Lord of Success Unfulfilled. And so I think that's what keeps me going through this journey, return from Mauh. I think that's what keeps me going, is just knowing that I am the Lord of Success Unfulfilled, because I want to know what the occult is. Like, I want to know what the secret is. I want to know how the secret was created, because it's really cool, right? Like, what I'm thinking about now, Lord of Success Unfulfilled, is the Cliffoth, which is the tree of knowledge, works with the tree of life. And I would suggest being open to work with the tree of life, just because you need that balance between dark and light when you're doing this exercise that I'm doing with the Cliffoth. You have to have a balance of dark and light. And so you have to be open to working with the tree of life, which was the second. The first one, the tree of knowledge, was created. It was meant to be the tree of life, but it couldn't hold the knowledge, so it exploded and turned into the Cliffa. And so the tree of life was the second try that the universe took to create life and to bring in a balance of light with the dark, because you can't have light without the dark, and you can't have dark without the light. You need both, right? Like the yin yang. That's a funny word. Anyways, so that's that card. 7 of Pentacles, Lord of Success Unfulfilled. And I do like where this message is going. So let's just get my Thoth Tarot, because that's the tarot deck I've been working with as of late, in this really cool pouch. And I have my Thoth Tarot deck in this scarf. And yeah, it's very special to me. It's the deck that I have been using and will continue to use until I figure it out, because this Thoth Tarot, the Hermetic Tarot is hard too, this one that I showed you. Look at that. That's one of the cards in the deck. I showed you a pip card. Well, but I don't know if it was meant to be a pip card, but it looks like one. But this is what the actual pictures look like. You see all those different symbols, and that's the back of the deck. The Emperor. So take that as a sign, like knowledge is meant to be shared, but it doesn't need to be digested. If it doesn't suit your taste, if you don't resonate with what I'm talking about, I'm not trying to force this down anybody's throat. I'm just telling you what works for me. So let's get a card from Thoth. Thoth is actually an Egyptian god as well. He is the god of, Ra is the god of the sun. Bast is the goddess of, cunning, craft. But Thoth is the god of magic, among many other things, of course. But I think that's what I do. I practice magic, to be honest. Like, I really do practice magic. And I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a Luciferian satanic witch. Obviously, I practice magic, So let's see what the two cards are. So we have the Chariot, card number 7 of they're called trumps in this deck. So that brings me something personal. Somebody that I've been working with in the Cliffoth is the Great Cherseath. I don't know if I made a video about that, but that's, I'll tell you more, but, and I got, I don't know, 9 of Swords. Oh, with the Chariot. So I think what I would ultimately say about being a Satanist, because I'm a witch, I'm a Luciferian, but I'm also a Satanist. I'm a Luciferian satanic witch. Rock on. So I have the Chariot and the 9 of Swords, and the 9 of Swords is represented here by the glyph of Mars, and it's swords, so it has to do with air. And I think with the Chariot, there comes a time in life when we all have to tell ourselves, okay, self, you know, like, what do you believe, you know? And I have found that what I believe has been beneficial for my life, and I also believe that what I believe is personal to me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with people practicing Abrahamic religions if that's what helps them and works for them. I've heard somebody tell me, I don't like to think of it as working for me, but I work for me. So that's what I do as a Luciferian satanic witch. I believe in Lucifer, I believe in the Lightbringer, and I believe in Satan, Lord of Logic and Lord of the Earth. I basically believe what's in this book. And I believe that if I want to be known as somebody who helps other occultists, if that's what I want, that's what I'm going to get. That's what I'm going to get, because that's what I'm working towards. So the Chariot is making that decision to work towards a goal, coming to a time in your life where you ask yourself the question, where am I going? Who am I? What do I believe? You know, those valid questions that people are afraid to ask themselves because they don't want to hear the answer, but it's coming from within them. Well, that's what I believe. I think that the answers come from within us. And if you don't like the answers that you're getting when you see your face in the mirror, or when you see what you think is flappy triceps like me, you know, like, I mean, get a grip, you know, get a grip. This is temporary. This is all temporary, you know. Okay, so let me just take a drink of this magical potion. Sorry, I hit my hand on the table there. Cheers, this way. Magical potion for better health. Oh yeah. So anyways, I'd like to thank the tarot decks that I used today. So the Goetia Tarot, amazing deck. The Hermetic Tarot, sorry, motorcycles, yeah baby. All right, the Hermetic Tarot, and of course my Thoth Tarot, which is, these are the backs. And this just goes to show you that the Thoth Tarot, you know, connected to the God of Magic, has a cross on the back. And you can Google what the name of this cross is. But that just goes to show you that you need dark and you need light. You need other people in this world. So if you're going to put other people down for believing something, that just goes to show that you're not willing to accept other people's opinions on things. This is just my own opinion. If you can convince me otherwise, I will be convinced. If I have to be convinced for my life, to save my life, I will be convinced, no problem. But you know, it's what's in here that counts. It's what's in your heart that counts. We're all dying. Okay, I'm dying right now as I speak. I'm getting closer to the grave. One day I will be 9 feet deep in a coffin, but I will look beautiful because I want to be embalmed, baby. Anyways, all right, let's get some more of that magical potion for good health. Anyways, so I'm saving up my money because that's going to be one of my requests when I die, is I want to be embalmed like the Egyptians. I mean, yeah, you could even put me in a pyramid for sure, and just put all my tarot decks, all my magical things with me. I mean, I would love that. All right, guys, so this is Mauh Moon signing out. If it's your birthday this week, happy birthday. Go shorty or Tolly. It's your birthday, or medium. It's your birthday.
right. Bye, guys.